Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. And in this video, we are going to be taking a look at our boy Vega and asking the question, should you summon? Is he worth it? What's he going to do for you? What role is he going to fill in your team? Now, I'm not sure if I've put this out before or after I've done my summons. I've done my summons, but I don't know when I've released the video. You can only get this guy from Divination, you can get him from the standard pool, or you can get him from like friend summons and purple tokens. So he is a bit more accessible than some other units, but really he's accessible as units like Bison and stuff like that. So I'd say probably first and foremost that if you don't have your Bison up to a good level, you might want to finish that before you start looking at any of these other Divination characters, okay? That's what we're going to call them, Divination characters. But let's look at Vega, let's see what he does, and let's see what his kit's like. So we'll start with his passive. I don't have him at SSS 5, by the way. This is, I've gone into the trial just so we can look at his cars as well, okay? So his passive, the scent of fresh blood energizes and excites Vega. When attacking targets affected with bleed, each stack of bleed active increases the attack's crit rate by 10% up to 30% in total, so up to 30% extra crit. If the target is afflicted by sublime bleed, the damage dealt during the attack increases by 3% for every 1 second they're in this state, up to a total of 60%. So up to 60% extra damage dealt and an additional 30% crit damage, crit rate. That's pretty solid actually. Each stack of bleed active increases the attack's crit rate by 15% up to 45% in total. If the target is affected by sublime bleed, damage dealt increases by 4% up to 80% total. And when the target is afflicted by sublime bleed is defeated, Vega receives a buff that is the greatest value among all of the aforementioned effects. So he would get 80% and what? Okay. Sublime bleed loses 2% HP every second up to 20% attack. In total, effect lasts 10 seconds, stack up to 3 times. It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. He is a single target attacker, right? So I guess what we're really asking ourselves here is, when it comes to killing bosses, is he going to be good for killing bosses, right? Now, what I would say first of all is potentially yes, because in a lot of the boss fights, like say Akuma that we just had, things like crit is very important to getting the top scores. So a character like Vega could really help you push higher. So let's go here. Let's look at his attacks, right? So his first one, leaps into the air and slashes twice at the nearest enemy, dealing damage equal to 564% of attack, plus 20% of the HP already lost by the target, up to 200% of attack. Also inflicts 1 bleed on the target. Damage increases to 648% of attack. Level 3, deals additional damage equal to 20% of HP lost by the target. Additional damage dealt is capped at 240% of attack. It's quite a lot of attack. Right, so number 2, this is the one that if you're not starting these combo, you can pretty much use this. Or you can use the second one as well, but obviously if you're starting the combo, you can never use this one. Leaps at the nearest enemy from the air, clawing... Oh no, wait a minute, that's still number 2. You can use both of these, forget that, right? Leaps at the nearest enemy from the air, clawing 3 times at them to deal damage equal to 420% of attack in total. Unleashing this also increases the fighter's dodge by 30% for 8 seconds. That can actually be quite handy as well, especially if you're using certain strategies like waiting for, again, looking at the Akuma event, waiting for the enemy to kind of allow you to build up a couple of stacks of your super attack and you then unleash. You can be going like bang bang really quickly, doing 2 sets of attacks, you know, and it can do a lot for you. Increases damage to 483% of attack, increases the fighter's dodge to 50% for 8 seconds upon unleashing. Right, so he's got good survivability then. And he is really fast as well. Slashes at the nearest enemy 5 times in quick succession while airborne, dealing damage equal to 567% of attack. Also inflicts additional damage equal to 30% of HP lost by the enemy, capped at 400%. Damage dealt goes up to 652% at level 2, and at level 3 he deals additional damage up to 30% of HP lost by the target. Additional damage is capped at 480% of attack. Right, so I like him. I like him. I mean, again, it's one of those things though, like, if you're the type of player who likes to have your team filled with AoE units, this guy's not going to float your boat. However, if you're someone who likes to chase scores in events, then his high crit rate, as well as his additional damage and stuff like that he's got, is going to probably allow you to get really high scores. And the fact is, with him having increased dodge rate in events that dish out a lot of damage, he's going to have the ability to dodge a lot more and potentially survive a lot longer as well. Let's look at his cars, right? So when he's got his full set of cars, Vega hits an enemy that if they have Sublime Bleed in a melee attack, he has a 30% chance of generating a hurricane that deals damage equal to 120% of attack to all enemies within the area of attack. Melee attacks by all other allies have the same chance of generating a hurricane. I mean, that's quite good then, because that means that he will actually be useful if you've got his cars. Although you can't rely on it because it's a chance, it's 30%. But if he's got cars, then he's giving you a bit of AoE function, you know, because he's going to be putting Sublime Bleed onto people with his kit. His kit's just going to do that, right? And if you've got a team filled with characters who are doing melee attacks, you've got, what is it, let's just say four attacks. That should get 4 chances at 30% to trigger an additional AoE attack. True, the damage isn't necessarily the highest on the AoE attack, but that's in addition to what he's already doing and what they're doing. I think most people would probably still use this guy predominantly for bosses, because I feel like that is really the meta for single target units. More often than not, they get used for bosses. But if they end up releasing a factional tower for like Inferno or Master, he's going to be quite good in places like that as well, you know, even though those are stages, he's going to be doing a lot of damage, so he would be quite useful. And I feel that they will do that in future. Yeah, I like him. The question of should you summon is a bit of a bait question, because to be honest, it's entirely up to you. I don't like giving actual flat out recommendations to say whether you should or whether you shouldn't summon. If it's a bad unit, I'll probably say skip. But if it's a good unit, I'll say, well, he's good, you know, and if you feel like you could use this guy, then go for it. If you've got maybe Trendy Kami, for example, you might already be quite happy with how you're performing in like boss battles and stuff. But with his high crit rate and additional damage dealt, I feel like he might outscore her. Possibly. I think we'll need to see him in action, like against bosses, to see how that goes, but I like him. Honestly, I like him. If you're a fan of Vega, you're not going to do yourself any harm in summoning for this guy. He is pretty decent in my opinion. And I've already summoned for him, so there you go. But yeah, thumbs up. Vega's good. That's what I'm going to say. Anyway, I've been Hayzink. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace and tranquility to all.